Hi, I'm Jim Dittmar. This is Mark Miner. I am a board member of the Leaders Serving Beaver County, and I'm here with Mark Miner, who is the publisher of the book Forged in Steel, a book about the leadership style, the leadership commitment, how the Steelers express leadership in the Rooney organization. And Mark, as I mentioned, is the publisher of that book, and thank you for being here this morning.
You're very welcome.
All right.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
So what do you want to say about the book before we get started?
Well, I think Forged in Steel is the first book that we know that looks at proven leadership through the prism of a National Football League team. Been a lot of books written about coaches or players who embody leadership in their wonderful works. The John Wooden biography is terrific. This really looks at leadership from the owners on down, and what that looks like in terms of 7 principles, from being clear about your main thing and contagious humility, all the way up to passionate execution, deliberate practice, and mental toughness, all the things that go into a successful leader.
Yep. And there are 7 principles that have been distilled by Tunch Ilkin and Damian Williams, the authors of the book. Tunch, you may recall, former player for the Steelers. Damian Williams is founder, president, CEO of Leadership League, located in Pittsburgh. And so from their interviews and information gathering, they distilled these 7 principles, which I'll have Mark mention here shortly. But let me ask you this, Mark. How do you see the Forged in Steel book message helping to develop leaders here in Beaver County?
Well, I think generally speaking, Beaver County is at an unprecedented time of economic potential and reality.
Yes.
We've had great leaders in the past. I think right now is a time where we're looking for that next generation of leaders to step up and to become forces for good in the community. I think Leaders Serving Beaver County is a great step to help identify who some of those leaders might be, and to start giving them more of the principles that they can put into their lives and businesses and organizations using the Steelers way of leadership that can help them grow dramatically.
Yes. And let me just mention that this year, Leaders Serving Beaver County, and I'll have a little bit to say about that in just a moment, but the organization Leaders Serving Beaver County, or LSBC, has adopted the Forged in Steel text, Forged in Steel book, for this year's Thursday morning breakfast series. It's a time where we gather together, leaders from all sorts of backgrounds, organizations, all levels of leadership, and we spend about an hour and a half together here at the Lodge room in the Penn State Beaver campus, and we take one of those principles and drill down into it each Thursday. We've already done 2, and we are looking forward to the 3rd one coming up November 17th, again here at Penn State Beaver campus in this Lodge room. We begin at 7:30, we end at 9, and the topic is servant leadership. That's the 3rd principle of 7 that represents the leadership style, attitude, commitment, behaviors of the Steeler organization.
And that term, servant leadership, is almost become cliche in our society.
It has.
It's often used, but looking at it through the eyes and viewpoint of a family that owns a 6-time Super Bowl winning football team in the National Football League gives it a completely different aura, and I think means a lot to us as we all can relate to the Steelers and it's the meaning of that team in our community.
Absolutely. To say servant leaders and Steelers in the same breath, almost for many people, is an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense. But yet we find it in this business associated with rough and tough and, beastly kind of individuals that are banging into each other. This sort of very tough business-like environment we see. We're describing a group, an ownership, a family, an organization as exemplifying servant leadership.